Well, I love her quote. This was when she was busted, basically. She said, "I have been on the front line and deeply involved in Boston's efforts to control the pandemic." So by that standard of you could be in Hawaii, but be on the front lines in Boston, then everybody who was in Boston on December 7th, 1941 was on the front line when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, I guess.
Yes, Pearl Harbor, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, listen, the optics on this are bad, but more than the optics, I think the real question is, can you really be operationally in control of your health department or your health responsibilities when you're 5,000 miles away and 5 time zones away? I think that's really the question that this raised. And even former members of the commission, people that are supportive of the City Health Commission, were raising questions. Atia Martin, former director of disaster preparedness, basically said, we're in the Super Bowl of emergencies, and I can't imagine that we would let a key member of our team not be in the game. She's not there physically to play in the game, and using a great Boston or a great Tom Brady analogy, I guess. But at the end of the day, the way the media covers this, it's gotten, if it weren't for the Herald and NBC 10 and Just the News, no one would have covered it. And yet there were countless, people covering the cruising. I have no problem covering the cruising. I think it's a legitimate question to ask of a senator, should he leave? But the lack of scrutiny of what's going on in Boston is remarkable. And when you look at the meeting in January, they had their monthly meeting in January. I was struck by 2 things when I looked at it. One was in the background, Dr. Jennifer Lowe had a Boston background. It appeared in her background, but it looks like it's a green screen. It doesn't look like she was in Boston. It was just made to look like it. We've asked the city, did she come back for the meeting, or is she using a green screen? It looks like a green screen to me, but we'll find out. We'll get an answer to that. But
I haven't looked at it yet, John. I'm on the radio, and I also work for the Herald, and I said I said to the editor of the Herald who got it, I said, did she say aloha? That's all I want to know, is if we could put aloha on the radio.
No hint of Hawaii,
but I guess she didn't say aloha, so you can't have everything, right?
Not that I saw. Yeah, it looked like it had the Boston background in there. If I'm, we'll have to ask, but it didn't have a winter scene. It looked like a summer scene. But I think secondly, there were a handful of times where she said, I don't know, I'll have to get back to you, clearly unaware of some of the answers to questions that were being posed. And I think that further cements this idea that maybe you can't run a medical department from 5,000 miles away. The good people of Boston will ultimately decide what's right here. But it really is, a sort of story. It's a little story that I think speaks volume about hypocrisy, double standards, media malpractice in the 21st century.
Well, here's another thing that it speaks to, John. The economic devastation in Massachusetts has been immense during this whole thing. I mean, Massachusetts has the 4th highest rate of job losses, percentage-wise, of any state in the union. I mean, all these people in the private sector are out of work or have been out of work. We had the highest unemployment rate in the country for 2 months during the summer. And this woman and every other person on a public payroll in Massachusetts has not missed a single paycheck. You know how, and we can't even find out for sure how much this woman makes, because it turns out, as you pointed out, she's not covered by residency requirements because she's technically not a City of Boston employee. She's subcontracted from a private health agency. So we have this we have this good website at the Herald. Every state and city salary is on there. So on Saturday we looked for her.
You were looking through it, right?
Yeah, we looked through. We just got the new city payroll last week, so we said, "Oh, this is great. We got her pay." We don't have it, but it looks like she's making $185,000 from this private concern. $185,000 in Hawaii.
Salary.
While the people in the city, the unemployment rate in the city of Boston is probably 15-20%. The downtown area is totally devastated. It looks like New York City in the New York Post today, with all the for rent, for sale, for lease signs everywhere. Businesses out of business. Probably close to half the restaurants in the city are gone. Liquor licenses going begging, and she's in Hawaii.
Yeah. No, it really, there's the last 5 years have cemented that there are two systems in America, one for government employees, one for everybody else. And you've seen it, whether it's in the Russia collusion scandal, where people do things that ordinarily would result in criminal convictions and they get no punishment, or don't even, or if they do get caught, they don't even get prison time. Or if you see it here, where one person gets to live in Hawaii during the middle of a pandemic when her job is to protect the city from that pandemic. And I think, the American people have to take a look at this system of government that we've created, which is not only big and bloated, it's entitled. And that's exactly why our founding fathers back in 1775, 76 worried about a large government. They didn't want a large federal government. It's clear from every writing they had at that time that they saw this type of disaster in the making if America got a big government. Now we have big government everywhere, and there's probably many. In fact, I know there are many others. I write about them all the time. There are many other Jennifer Lowe's throughout government. Look at Anthony Fauci making $400K a year, and just we have this government gone wild, and I think the American people have to take a step back and decide how are they going to get it back under control.
I know, and the media too. I mean, you bring up the Ted Cruz situation. I mean, everybody in the media understands the difference between a governor and a mayor or a senator in terms of responsibility in situations like in Texas last week. Yet they give a pass to the mayor of Austin, Texas, who leaves on Thanksgiving to go down to Mexico and then records a message in a palatial suite in Mexico telling people in Austin to stay home for Thanksgiving. I mean, to me, that's a much bigger example of hypocrisy than Ted Cruz taking off for a few days.
Yeah. There's no doubt. And the media double standard is part of what inflames America today and why we're so frustrated, because we see these stories and one side gets treated one way, another one gets a free pass. And I think as time goes on, it's why in California, the most liberal state in America, they're poised to recall a liberal governor. Even a liberal state like California has had enough of big government hypocrisy.
And New York too.
California is emblematic.
New York wants to, now you got the people want to impeach Governor Cuomo. So on one side you got a recall petition going on, and on the other side of the country you got an impeachment effort going on. This is
absolutely.
People have had enough. I got to ask you today, since I got you on, you saw Merrick Garland talking about. He was asked about the Durham probe. U.S. former U.S. attorney, or still U.S. attorney in Connecticut, John Durham, investigating Russiagate. Were you at all relieved by those answers that he gave?
Not surprising to me. I thought that it's exactly what I would expect. The president had said previously that they would leave him in place, and I think Merrick Garland is, a career justice, a lot of history in the career section of the Justice Department. Not surprising he'd make that. I thought the more poignant moment was when he was asked whether it was a crime for someone to illegally cross the border, and he couldn't answer it. I think that was a more stunning moment in how far we've come in immigration policy, that a law on the books and someone violates it and you can't call it a crime. I do think that those are some of the more poignant moments. But Durham's going to wrap up quickly. Hopefully there'll be some more accountability. I know a lot of people want that. There should be a report, and hopefully, I'm hearing that they're trying to build some final criminal cases. Let's see if that actually comes to fruition.
I'm not confident, and I think most of my listeners are not confident, John.
Yeah, I understand why. There's definitely evidence that they're trying to build it, but I think that so much time has passed, and people look and say, a first-year law student could have made this case a long time ago, and I think that frustration is palpable, and you see what happened to the one guy who was caught, Klein.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that the FISA court Chief Justice Boasberg gives him a slap on the wrist, you'd think he would be more angry than any other judge in the system.
Absolutely should be. And it doesn't bode well for the future of civil liberties when the abuses that have now been clearly documented are so lightly passed away. And I think that, anyone worried about freedom in America, liberty in America, ACLU or conservative, either side, this is a dangerous moment, because there seems to be an apathy to the extraordinary abuses of freedom and civil liberties that occurred in the middle of that Russia case. That's what it's really about. Beyond the dirty trick and everything that went on with Donald Trump, real people's lives were ruined. Real people's privacy was invaded on the most false of premises.
Right, exactly. John Solomon, thanks for picking up the story in Boston, and we'll tweet out your story from Just the News, and we really do. And we'll like to have you on again. And in the meantime, John, I just want to say one word to you: aloha.
Yes, sir. If I only were so lucky to be there.
Thank you, John Solomon. If you haven't tried Superbeats Heart Chews yet, you are really missing out on a great product. This is a great energy boost. It tastes good like candy. It's wrapped like candy. I'm taking a couple out of the bag right now. Just wrapped like a little, look like a chunky. Have a chunk of chocolate, but it's not chocolate. It's a great product that's good for your heart health, your blood pressure, and your circulation. Superbeats Heart Chews combine non-GMO beets with a powerful new ingredient, grapeseed extract. The grapeseed extract used in Superbeats Chews has been clinically shown to be twice as effective at supporting normal blood pressure as a healthy lifestyle alone. Better blood pressure means more energy the way nature intended, without the jittery caffeine or stimulants. Now you can take just 2 delicious chews a day, anytime, anywhere, to get the blood pressure support you need and the energy you want. If you don't want to take them till you leave and just have them with you at work, you just stick them in your pocket. It's as easy as can be. I take one before I go out on my bike ride in the morning, and I have one during the show sometime. I'm probably going to have one right now. I haven't done it until right now, but I'm going to have one before we go off the air. It's just a great product. Give me a little boost of energy for the evening. Do what I did and support your health, your heart health, with delicious Superbeats Chews. Get your Superbeats Chews today at superbeatsradio.com/Howie. Superbeatsradio.com/Howie. And when you buy 2 bags, they'll throw in the 3rd one for free. That's superbeatsradio.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr. You can trust him.
Here, you want one?
He's not like